I'd now like to welcome Mr. Chris Bowen, the federal member for McMahon. Mr. Bowen is joined here by his little daughter Grace. Thank you for coming on a Sunday. Now, as you all know, Mr. Bowen is a former immigration minister and he has been a strong advocate for the Coptic community. We thank you, Mr. Bowen, for your support. Please make Mr. Bowen feel welcome.
Sayidna, Reverend Fathers, my parliamentary colleagues, friends, we all gathered in October 2011 elsewhere in Sydney in the hope that the Copts of Egypt would find peace, in the hope that we would never have to gather again to support the Copts of Egypt because their peace and freedom would be their natural right. We gathered then in hope, yet we have to gather here again today. My friends, St Mark's Cathedral has been under siege. We should respond just as if St Mary's Cathedral, Sydney, or St Paul's Cathedral, London, were under siege, because an attack on St Mark's is an attack on peace and freedom everywhere in the world. It's a responsibility of every democratically elected government of the world to support all its people and its citizens, regardless of their religion, regardless of their faith, regardless of their ethnicity. This is a responsibility that falls on the shoulders of Egypt's government, no less or no more than any other government around the world, and they should fulfil that responsibility to the Coptic people. It's my view that one of the great crises of the world is the treatment of Christians in the Middle East. The treatment of Copts, the treatment of Assyrians, the treatment of Chaldeans. These are the crises of the Middle East which need the world's attention. I know Foreign Minister Bob Carr has made this point to President Morsi personally. I know he's made the point to former Secretary of State Clinton, the new Secretary of State Kerry, to Foreign Secretary of the United Kingdom William Hague, that Australia believes that the treatment of Christians in the Middle East is a crisis which must be addressed by the world's powers. Now, my friends, you gather here today, we all gather in support of you and support of the Copts of Egypt. Let us ensure that your voice is heard from Sydney to Egypt and around the world. But let it be clear, it is not just the voice of Copts, it is the voice of freedom and peace-loving people who stand side by side with the Copts of Egypt and say, we will not rest until you are free. My friends, I always enjoy seeing you, but I hope we never have to gather like this again. But I give you this word, if we have to, we will, and we will stand by you. We will always be with you, and we will not rest until the Copts of Egypt lived in peace and freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen.